Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Doing this video on the ways that I know that my toddler, my 21-month-old son Logan, is autistic. And I'm going to be going over the signs of autism based on autismspeaks.org and basically just things that I've seen over time with Logan. Logan's 21 months old, but these signs have been for several months now. Probably since, it's December now, probably since he was 16 months old, 17 months old. And I wrote down like the top 5 signs, and Logan shows all the signs, although he's not diagnosed just yet. We have not gotten an official diagnosis, but we're pretty much headed in that direction, and I'll go over that in a little bit. But the first sign of autism is delayed speech. So a lot of kids that are challenged by autism either do not speak, they're nonverbal at Logan's age, or even, you know, a little bit older than Logan, or they just don't have very many real words. So Logan is completely nonverbal. He does not say anything that makes sense. There's no real words. It's babbling. It's like flicking of his tongue, like ducka ducka ducka. He squeals when he's excited, type of thing, to kind of to communicate with us like his excitement and things like that, but there's no real words. And then also he doesn't understand as much either. His delay is in speech, officially diagnosed through our early intervention infants and toddlers in our state and in our county, and so he has a very delayed speech for expressive and receptive, so he doesn't understand much either, which is of huge concern at almost 2 years old. The second sign is a regression of skills or a regression of speech. So I've watched a lot of videos on autism. I've talked to autistic parents, and a lot of them say that like their kid will be talking and be using words all the time, and then all of a sudden they stop using that word. It's almost like they've just completely forgotten how to do it. Obviously that's not Logan because he doesn't talk at all, but there has been some regression of skills. So when he was 12 months old, 13 months old, he was waving bye-bye, hi, not saying that obviously, but waving and understanding when and where to do that and who to do it to, blowing kisses, giving kisses to people. He was just a lot more social. There was more eye contact, there was more engagement, and then he has lost the ability to wave hi or goodbye. He does not blow kisses. He does not give kisses, even when you ask him to. It's almost like he's completely forgotten how to do any of those things. The third major sign of autism is also lack of eye contact or inability to maintain eye contact, and that is Logan. He's engaged in what he wants to do, and we say, Logan, Logan. He's not responding, he's not turning around, he's not wondering like, oh, what does mommy or daddy want with me, or why are they calling my name, type of thing. So that is definitely a huge concern and also a sign for autism. Fourth sign is repetitive behaviors. So that might be something like hand flapping, it could be rocking, but Logan doesn't do that. He will run around in circles. So it could be like in a small space, like on our rug in our living room, he'll run around in a circle. Or it could be like within our dining room, living room, kitchen, like all in one circle. He's running around, and it's almost like he's having fun. He can't stop doing it. And it's just, I've been told, like just something that he gets sensory-wise from it. So a lot of kids will have repetitive behaviors like that are on the autism spectrum. Some kids line up their toys. Logan has started somewhat lining up his toys. It's more so organizing them the way that he wants them. I have pictures, I have videos of him like lining up like pots and pans in our kitchen. All kids like to play with pots and pans in the kitchen, and he will line them up in a straight line. Animals, he organizes them in different parts of the room. Like he'll bring all of them to one side of the living room and organize them the way he wants, and he's proud of himself, and then he moves it to another side of the room, and it's like just a repetitive game back and forth. The fifth big sign of autism is unusual or intense reaction. So this could be to sounds. A lot of kids on the autism spectrum will cover their ears, or they get really upset with loud sounds. It could be vacuuming. It could be like a police car going by. It could be, a toy going off. They would have a really hard time with that. It could be taste or texture. So a lot of times kids with autism, from what I've read and have heard from other parents, they have sensory issues with textures or taste, and that's definitely Logan. This was just meant to be like a short, quick video on how I know that my toddler is autistic despite a diagnosis. So just to go into that, I knew that something was going on with Logan speech-wise when he was 14, 15 months old. We actually went to the pediatrician at 12 months, and she informed me that he should have been having at least 3 real words. So he should be saying mama or dada or no, and it means something, like actual in context means something, and he had none. And I wasn't too worried about that because, every kid progresses differently, and 3 words at 12 months isn't that big of a deal. But it was almost like Logan, as time went on, like he reached the babbling stage of infancy and hasn't gotten past that stage at all. As well as understanding what we're saying as well. It's almost like he's at an infant level in a almost 2-year-old's body. So I went ahead and had him evaluated through our infants and toddlers program, which is, at no cost to us. We didn't have to go through insurance or anything. Basically through our county, and I'm pretty sure every state has this. It might be called like Early Steps or something in other states. But basically they came out. It was a team of a speech pathologist, a special educator, and then like a service coordinator. And because I was just worried about speech, they didn't send out like occupational therapy or physical therapy at that point, because I didn't have any concerns. He was meeting all his physical milestones just with speech and kind of understanding what we were saying. So they came out, they evaluated him. It probably took about 3 hours, and they mentioned like that he wasn't where he needed to be with other skills like eye contact, like engagement. He was very object focused instead of person focused. He wouldn't look at them when they were trying to engage with a toy that he really liked. He wouldn't even really act like they were in the room. He was just kind of doing his own thing. They also said something about toe walking, which I didn't really notice at first. Like he would like maybe walk on his toes for like 2 seconds and then go back to flat foot walking. But that also has increased over time. I forgot to mention that when I was going over like how I know my toddler is probably autistic, is toe walking. So he doesn't consistently walk on his toes, but it's several times a day that he's doing that, which is another sign of autism. It's not really like printed anywhere. It's not on autismspeaks.org, but it is something that I have observed autistic kids walking on their toes, or I have read about them doing that, and that's probably more of like a sensory thing for them as well. But to go back to Logan's evaluation, so he had to test a 25% delay or greater in order to be able to receive services. So he did test with a 25% or greater delay in speech. They determined that everything else was pretty on the average range, even though they were saying some stuff about his ability for eye contact and stuff like that. I guess maybe because he was so young, and he was doing some other skills that it wasn't technically textbook, okay, we might have an issue here. So he qualified for speech, and that was actually really hard to get them to get a speech pathologist in to work with Logan. They wanted to send a teacher in first because he was lacking what they say pre-speech skills, so eye contact, interaction. They basically explained how can a speech pathologist work with him one-on-one if he's not looking at them or responding to them or even interested in what they're doing with him. So it made sense, but I still felt like, you know what, let's have the teacher and let's have the speech pathologist work together. So I fought for that for about 2 months before I finally got a speech pathologist to work with Logan. And currently Logan is getting services for his teacher once a week, and his speech pathologist twice a month. So it's not the ideal situation of where I want to be, but I understand what the infants and toddlers is saying with that reasoning. However, he hasn't been making a lot of progress that you would think someone would be making with a teacher coming once a week and teaching me skills, and his caretaker, who's my mom, thankfully, gets to babysit him while I work and my husband works. You know, and we're consistently doing the strategies that the teacher's talking to us and the speech pathologist is talking to us and telling us, and he's just not progressing. He really isn't. And so I mentioned that to them, and they put a school psychologist on his plan. So that was just this week, where the school psychologist came and met with me and, you know, observed Logan. And I was very open with her about my concerns for autism based on the signs I was just sharing with you, and just over time seeing him not progress at all with these skills and strategies that we've been, you know, consistently demonstrating to him and trying to put into play at home, and then also when he's at my mom while I'm at work. And so within 15 minutes she said, Kayla, you know, just based on what you've been telling me and what I've observed with Logan, I do think he is challenged by autism. So, and my whole point in this, you know, discussion with the school psychologist was, okay, how can we get Logan formally tested for autism? Because I know me as a mother thinking he has autism, or his teacher thinking he has autism, or even the school psychologist at this point thinking he has autism, isn't going to get us anywhere with, you know, more therapies and other doors opening up for Logan. So she said that she cannot formally evaluate him until his 2nd birthday, based on her resources that she has, but that he can be evaluated through Kennedy Krieger, the CARD, which is the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, even earlier. So before I even met with her, I did that research and called CARD, and I'm in the process of hopefully setting up an appointment. But she told me it's a 7 to 8 month wait, which is really hard to hear when you just want help for your child. I'm still going to pursue, you know, formal testing, whether it be through the school psychologist when he's 2 or through Kennedy Krieger in our hometown, but it's just like, which one's going to come first? So in the meantime, we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing with Logan, you know, really working with him on his eye contact, really working with him on engaging with others around him, working with him on responding to his name, so that some of those, you know, if we can work on that before he gets more intense therapy, that at least those pre-skills will already start to be, you know, smooth sailing for him before we can, you know, have an intense level of speech or ABA therapy, which is what I really want him to be in. You know, a waiting game, and I've heard that from so many people. So I'm just going to keep what I'm doing, but I know that, you know, just something isn't right with my son. So I wanted to do this video just to maybe kind of express like some signs I'm seeing in my 21-month-old, just to see if it could help anybody else, if my research could help anybody else, or maybe the connections or the things that I've gotten from the school psychologist or other people, his teacher, you know, could help anybody else. That's the point of making this video. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will try my best to answer them. And I'm new to YouTube, so if you would like to see more videos about autism, about Logan, about just our journey, go ahead and click the subscribe button, the red subscribe button, and we would happy to have you be a part of our journey. Okay, see you later. Bye.